Oh, now what's he doing?
Yo, welcome back to Rob Versus. Today we're gonna be juggling meat from SpongeBob. Okay, first things first, gather up your balls and smack them down on the table, but no, don't use the bouncy balls. Instead, you want to use hacky sacks. Why? Because hacky sacks don't bounce around and it's harder to lose them, but you'll discover that for ourselves a little bit later on. I also have these plastic grocery garbage bags, you know, the kind that your parents tell you to stockpile. I have a crap ton of those. Apparently that would be, this ball. Anyway, those should be easier to juggle in theory. So take your balls and sacks and let's go! So let's get you properly started on your slightly inappropriate journey. Get rid of those other two balls. You only need one despite what your ex-girlfriend told you. Go ahead and toss it back and forth and get used to the feel of it. Yeah. Got it? Good. Now we're moving on to stage 2. This is the ball cascade. Take a ball in your dominant hand, toss it up, use your non-dominant hand and toss the other ball back in a little rainbow underneath the initial arc. So one ball waterfalls over the other. From here, it's time for some big boy juggling. Grab all 3 of your blue balls and start tossing them up in the air. The hardest part is often just remembering to release that third ball, so I like to verbally cue myself and I'll go throw, 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 throw. At a certain point, your unconscious mind will take over and realize that, hey, I can catch these after I throw them without having to think too much about it. Then you win. At which point, you finally earn your juggling diploma and graduate from clown school. Congratulations. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, Rob, well, surely the drag that's created by using literal trash to learn how to juggle would make the process easier. But no, it's floaty and terrible, and then you would be wrong, so I don't recommend it. Okay, baby jugglers, playtime is over. Now it's time to see if we can juggle with the real boys and girls, or men and whatever. I don't know how that goes. The point is that you want to make sure that you're situated on top of a very steep grassy hill so that when you fail, you're punished for your transgressions. And just like in real life, remember that there's no way that you can actually win. Yeah, you didn't think we were going to do an entire episode on meat juggling and not follow through, did you? So by now I figured that you've tried and failed enough in order to get your basic juggling down. You can juggle for 5 to 10 seconds at a time. At least that's where I went with it. So that entire process took me about 2 days to get down. Overall, I would say it took me about 3 or 4 hours of practicing juggling and failing horribly before I was finally at a place where I was ready to juggle meat. One thing that was really helpful was beginning to tone down my actions so they were a little bit smaller, a little bit more control. You gotta have ball control, that's absolutely critical. And if you're a fan of ball control or you just happen to like a good dick joke, be sure you like or subscribe to this content because this shit takes time. I'm also wrapping these things with plastic wrap because meat is expensive and I'm gonna eat this after I fail. Alright internet, if you're gonna get this right, then it's all about attitude, and the first thing is that you gotta make sure that you're a little bit cheesed off because you spent the last 30 minutes preparing meat that you're gonna juggle and fail at juggling. Make sure you lose track of what you're doing too and then put on a ridiculous face so that the internet can eventually turn you into some kind of hamburger meme. Please don't. And at this stage it's absolutely critical that you recognize that this is your life now. You live here. The weirdly warm meat greasily sliding off your palms. Oh, we did it. Thank God we're done. So what did we learn at the end of the day from all of this meat handling? Well, for starters, juggling gives me anxiety. But I don't think it's because juggling is actually difficult. I think it's because I give myself a really hard time. There's no space for me to try and to fail, and so I'm kind of just really harshly critiquing myself the entire time. But if that repeated failure in juggling has taught me anything, the minute that I can begin to give myself a little bit of grace, and just kind of forgive myself for being human, for making mistakes, well, that's when there's finally room for maybe just a little bit of magic to happen. And for me, that's kind of what makes it worth it. So whether or not you take on juggling or some other skill, I hope that you take that lesson on with you as well. You deserve a little bit of compassion. You deserve a little bit of grace. You're learning something new, and sometimes that can be hard as hell. So thank you for watching, thanks for making it all the way to the end, and if you got something out of this, it would mean a lot to me if you hit like, or if you subscribed if you really liked it, or left me a comment down below and let me know what you think, and what you want to see next. Thanks. Catch you around.